So recently I made a review discussing the film 47 Meters Down by Johannes Roberts, and I remember mentioning that when I watched 47 Meters Down Uncaged, I didn't even make it through the whole thing at all because I just found it boring, very different from the first, and couldn't really get into it. But I did say that I was going to be rewatching it because I found it streaming on Prime, and I gave it the full chance that it deserved, and I have to say that it was a much better improvement. Probably the timing, which is usually what happens if I don't like a film, a lot of the times is just maybe I'm not in the mood for that type of experience, or I just was, had my mind on other things at the time, or just wasn't in the mood to watch a film in general. But I remember not liking it at all the first, partial viewing, and really liking it now. So there's a lot to discuss about 47 Meters Down Uncaged. First of all, it's not the contained horror film that 47 Meters Down is, obviously. With the title Uncaged, you have a bigger, um, you know, cinematic experience going on kind of thing. A lot of the things that really got to me on my first viewing was how Hollywood it felt and how many tropes that the director decided to throw into it to make it a bigger scale, a bigger, broader viewing experience, more targeting probably a younger audience and an audience that likes their jump scares more than their claustrophobia, more than their like psychological thrills kind of thing. And it didn't really work for me the first time, but I could get past all that the second time. Now, my preference obviously is with 47 Meters Down because that's more my type of horror, but I could still have a lot of fun with this one, and there was a lot of fun to be had with it for a horror movie, and it's not ridiculous, it's not over the top, and it's not just jump scares from start to finish. There's great gore. The characters are kind of hit and miss. Like they're tropey. They just feel like your typical teenage slash college age kids that are thrown in there for basically to be killed off kind of thing, and making stupid decisions for the most part, and just gimmicky. It's a little bit more of a gimmicky film, which I couldn't fully get behind, but like the first time especially, but I could definitely appreciate the lots of good that there is over that stuff. But anyways, the film starts off with a really weird. You don't really know if it's a flashback, but it's basically this girl either falling or diving into water. You can't really tell, but it's all slow mo, and then it cuts to introducing the film. You have these two stepsisters named Sasha and Mia, and Mia's biological father, played by the guy from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the main guy in that film. I forget his name right now. But he's the dad, and he's basically an archaeologist underwater kind of thing. He's in the midst of a discovery of a lost Mayan civilization that's been drowned underwater for centuries, probably. And he's basically restoring it underwater. And his daughter Mia is kind of more on the shy side, where Mia's stepsister Sasha is more of like a wild kind of go with the flow, make bigger, bolder decisions kind of character. And the film basically follows four girls, Mia and Sasha, and then Alexa and Nicole, who are their friends. And Alexa and Nicole end up dragging Sasha, not really dragging, but inviting Sasha and Mia to sneak out to this underwater Mayan civilization that has just been discovered, instead of going on a glass bottom boat cruise that they had tickets for. So they kind of want to be rebellious and go on this side adventure that that everybody else is just going on some lame boat cruise, as they put it, to watch sharks eat other stuff. So that's basically where the film starts and where your plot progresses. They start to go scuba diving in this civilization, and then shit goes wrong. A shark shows up, followed by you know, multiple sharks, and their way in ends up being barricaded because of the sharks and shit going wrong, and then they don't have a way out, and they have to kind of maneuver themselves around this underground city to get out of this peril, if you will. Now there's some cool CGI because obviously the sharks and all the like sea creatures are CGI, but it's still really cool. They look very realistic. There's actually this one fish that they end up discovering. They call it a Mexican tetra, and if this fish actually exists, then it doesn't have any eyes and its skin is transparent, so you can basically see through this fish that looks like it's glowing almost, and you can see its bones. They did a really good job on that. It was one of the better CGI moments of the film for sure, even though it wasn't you know, a shark attack or anything like that, which, may I mention again that the shark attacks are actually very gory, and for a PG-13 film it's got a lot of great kills in this film. This is a good horror film if you're a fan of that kind of stuff. All the girls are gorgeous. They're absolutely beautiful and stunning. There's one of them that actually makes a comment on Sasha's ass, which is 100% true. When they're swimming and they're trying to maneuver through the tunnels and rocks, that one mentions that Sasha's ass is going to get caught in between one of the tunnels. I laughed at that because it's so true. She's got a gorgeous ass. They're good eye candy. Like I said, they're very tropey. They're very typical horror movie style characters, so they don't have a lot of personality going on other than them being, you know, running away from sharks kind of thing. And it's not just sharks that this film focuses on either. They end up being stuck in some like currents that are going on with waves and underneath the water, and there's actually one girl, Alexa, that her death is brutal because she ends up drowning, and it makes me wonder, I don't know if I'd rather just be eaten by the sharks in that situation rather than getting stuck in a current and drowning to death, because drowning is a big fear of mine. So I'd probably choose the shark attack instead, but in reality I really don't know. There's this guy named Ben that works with Mia's dad too in the expedition, and he has a really great death scene kind of thing. And as the deaths start coming to the film, that's when it starts to pick up pace, especially in the second act, and that's where you get a second and third act absolutely filled with a lot of tension and a lot of I guess entertainment is the best word I can describe, but it doesn't it's paced well. It doesn't like leave you bored at all. I'd say the first act is obviously the most boring. That's probably why I didn't get into it too much, and is pretty trope heavy, but I keep using that word a lot, trope, but I think you know what I mean. And then the excuse me, the final scene involves them actually escaping, but ending up basically where that boat that they were supposed to be on in the beginning of the film, ending up kind of like where they come out is where the boat is, and that boat is trying to lure sharks towards it in order for the sharks to be fed, so they're dumping like shark guts and fish guts off of the pier of the boat, and these, not knowing that these two girls are left underneath the water, and yeah, it's it's intense. That scene is intense. And then Mia, she was given a shark tooth at the beginning of the film, and she uses the shark tooth against the shark to jab its eye, which is pretty ironic. Oh, and I forgot to talk about a fifth girl named Catherine, who plays the bully in this film. Again, it's another trope, but this chick is so fucking annoying. It's not even funny. It's too bad she wasn't part of the crew that got mauled, because this chick is just put in at the beginning of the film to be the biggest bitch that you can possibly deal with what she says and the way she acts, her behavior. Like, it's just absolutely through the roof, and she doesn't show up till the end again, but Jesus Christ, Catherine needs to be mentioned. For anybody who's watched this film already, you know exactly who I'm talking about. But overall, 47 Meters Down was a great watch, and nothing really bad to say about it. I gave it 3.5, just like I gave 47 Meters Down, the first one. And although it's a different experience, it's not any worse than the first one is. It's just good for what it is, and it does it does it does a great job for what it's supposed to be doing, and that's as much praise as I could give any film, really. So I enjoyed it much more. I would buy it. Out of 100, I don't even know. I'd probably give it like maybe 69 out of 100, something like that. And probably a little bit higher for the first one, like I said. But that's just because I like the type of film the first one is to begin with. So that's all I really got for 47 Meters Down Uncaged. So same director, so you got that on top of it. And he's supposed to be directing the new Resident Evil movie too, which I really want to see what kind of job he does on that. So he also directed a phenomenal film, Stranger Things Prey at Night. For anybody who's seen that, one of the best, if not the best, modern slashers that I've seen. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a review on that coming soon. But we shall see. So for now, subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. And I will be back for more real soon. Until then, have a good one. Cheers.